Good morning. What you'll see at the top is an exponential function. What we're going to be learning in these notes is what is the inverse of an exponential function, known as a logarithmic function. So to start, I'm going to remind you that our most basic parent function of an exponential graph is f of x is equal to b to the x power, where b is defined to be a positive number and not equal to 1. At the right, you'll see y is equal to 2x. Remember, we got that by plugging in -1, 0, and 1 for x, and then got 1/2, 1, and 2 for y. Our asymptote line was y is equal to 0. It asks what is the domain and range. Using our proper notation, our domain is all real numbers because that graph goes on forever left and right. Our range is y such that y is greater than 0, coming from our points being above and never touching or crossing that asymptote line. From chapter 7, we also learned what it was called to be an inverse. What we did is we took our table and we interchanged our x and our y values. So if I plot those, 1/2, -1, 1, 0, and 2, 1, I have my 3 points there, but before I actually graph it, remember the definition of an inverse. The domain of the original becomes the range of the inverse. So the domain was all real numbers, which means now my range of my inverse will be all real numbers. So this graph will go up and down forever. And then our range of our original will become our domain of our inverse. So our y is greater than 0 will become x is greater than 0, which is saying that I'm going to have a vertical line that this graph never crosses, and that's going to become my asymptote line. So in this example, our asymptote line is x is equal to 0. So we have the original exponential function and then what is known as an inverse. That inverse is actually the parent graph of a logarithmic function. Part C says, how would you find the equation of the inverse? So remember what we did to our equation, which was originally y is equal to 2x. We interchanged our x and y, so x is equal to 2 to the y power, and then we tried to solve for y. If you try and solve this for y, you're going to get stuck. It's actually not possible until we learn and understand what a logarithm is. Hence, the rest of this chapter. So below you'll see the definition of a logarithm. It is the inverse of an exponential function, and we use exponents to help us to evaluate and solve them. So you'll see that starting in today's notes and then into the notes after April vacation. Some uses for logarithms, especially in science with pH and Richter scales, growth rates, decay rates, half-life, and then also in banks and interest and earning money when you invest. So we're going to look at probably what's the most important part for today, being able to convert from what's called exponential form to logarithmic form. So under exponential form, I want you to write b to the y is equal to x. The b, that is known as our base. The y, of course, our power, what is known as the exponent. Okay, so any base raised to any power, our base and our exponent. And that is going to equal what is called the argument. The answer that comes out when you raise your base to some power is called the argument. Now in logarithmic form, you can write log, then a little subscript with a b, and your normal size x is equal to y. And I'm going to put that in words as well. But first, that is read as log base b of x is equal to y. So this is log, the b is my base, the x is what was called my argument if you look back to the left, and then equals y, which before on the left was known as my exponent. So log base of my argument is equal to my exponent. So you're going to hear me say over and over and over again, a log is an exponent. Because remember, the word equals, or the equal sign is the word is. A log equals, or a log is an exponent. And that's going to help us to convert back and forth between the two terms. So that's what we're going to practice first. Part 1, I want to go from exponent form to log form, and then we'll go the opposite way. So in part A, we have 2 to the third is equal to x. So keeping in mind again, if I point these things out, this is called my base, this is called my exponent, and this is called my argument. So looking to the right, I want to write log, a little subscript with whatever the base is, so that is base 2, of my argument is 8, is equal to the exponent. So that would be read as log base 2 of 8 is equal to 3. The second example, base, argument, exponent. So it's going to be log base 3. The base is always the easy one, I think. And then you want to say in your head, a log is an exponent, or a log equals an exponent. So then if we do that first, the exponent is 4. There's only one place left for that argument to go, the 81. Again, that'll be read as log base 3 of 81 equals 4. Why don't you go ahead and try the last one and see what you get. So C is going to be log base 3 of 1 over 27 is equal to negative 3. Part 2, now I want to go the opposite way. I want to rewrite in exponent form, which I actually think is easier and will actually do a lot more frequently. I think it's easier because you're going to be able to confirm your answer at least at this point. So log base 2, so this is my base, of my argument is equal to my exponent. A logarithm equals an exponent. Will be my base to my exponent is equal to my argument. So 2 to the 4th is equal to 16. And one more, my base is 2. A logarithm equals an exponent. So this is my exponent. 2 to the negative 1 is equal to my argument, 1/2. Now going on to our last part of our notes this morning, being able to evaluate with logarithms. So we're going to be saying what exponent produces this? What is the answer that comes out? And logarithms are just exponents, so that's what we're going to be searching for. The box at the top just comes from your book, shows you again the conversion back and forth. We'll talk about checking our answer and things like that with the b can't equal 1 and b is greater than 0, etc. when we come back from vacation. So what I'm going to look for us to do is to evaluate each of these, making sure we show our work. And so our steps will be the following. Put it in exponential form and then solve for the missing piece, which is going to be the unknown. To have an unknown, we're going to introduce an equals x. And so you're going to notice underneath my notes, besides showing like bases, which is a way of just me saying you must show your work, part B says since there's no x in your original problem, do not include x in your answer. So when I look at A, I want to know what is log base 2 of 4. I'm going to introduce an equals x to help me. So I'm saying what does that equal? What exponent produces this? So we're going to convert to exponential form. Base to my exponent, a logarithm is an exponent, is equal to my argument. So 2 to what power is equal to 4? So notice up here I said you must show like bases. Some of these are going to be super easy, but I want to see you prove where it's coming from. 2 to the x is equal to our prime factorization 2 to the second, and then I can set the exponents equal to each other. Exactly what we did in our last day of notes. However, the x wasn't there to start, so you're either going to rewrite just what it comes out to be off to the side and circle it, or you can circle it without circling the x as part of your answer. So let's take a look at part B. Introduce your x again, convert to exponential form, 64 to what power is equal to 4. Think like bases. The left side I can make 64 4 cubed, which would give me 4 to the 3x. Equals 4 to the first, and then I can set the exponents equal to each other. So 3x is equal to 1, therefore I divide by 3 and I get 1/3. Notice again I didn't circle the is equal to x. The remaining just get a little bit trickier, just other examples I want to practice with you. So log base 4 of 0.25? What does that equal? 4 to what power is equal to 0.25? And I'm going to give you a little hint as you're going to enter your answer momentarily. Think about how you can rewrite 0.25 as a fraction. Use that to solve for x. Letter D, log of 1/9, or log base 1/9 of the 4th root of 3 is equal to what? So that's going to be 1/9 to what power is equal to the 4th root of 3. Now we did one of these with our equation solving, keeping in mind I want like bases, I want exponents, so I can set the exponents equal to each other. So I know the right-hand side is going to be 3 to the 1/4 power, and since I can get the right-hand side to be 3, then I want to get the left-hand side to be base 3 as well. And 1/9 is the same thing as 1/3 squared. So then I can rewrite that as 3 to the -2, and then raised to the x power, I would multiply. -2x equals 1/4, and then I can divide by -2. Notice I will only circle my results and not the x is equal to. Letter E, if I introduce that as equal to x and I convert to exponential form, it would be 8 to what power is equal to 1. This one's a little bit harder. I want you to think about it, and you're going to answer the question in the video. Think about how you can get both sides to have the same base. What would that base be so that you can determine what x is? And we'll talk about it this afternoon if you need help. Last but not least, letter F. I'm going to introduce that again by setting it equal to x. And then something that was written at the top that I ignored for a moment. It says if no base is given, it's understood to be base 10, which is known as the common log. That's a whole section we'll do later on in the chapter. So notice I just have log of 0.001. Since there's no little base there, I can put a base 10. So converting, it would be, 10 to the x equals 0.001. And if I want to get like bases, remember that 0.001 is the same thing as 1/1000th. You've got your decimals, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, so it's 1/1000, which is 1/10 to the 3rd. And so we get 10 to the x equals 10 to the -3rd. Notice, get all the way to that step, get those like bases, and then I can set the exponents equal to each other to get your answer. From here, I want you to do the classwork practice. You're going to bring those answers to class with you this afternoon and be ready to share those answers as I call on multiple different volunteers to do that. And then we will also do some IXL practice. So once you finish with the classwork, there's nothing to submit for that other than come prepared this afternoon with those done. Then you're going to turn to IXL and complete the 2 strands that are listed in the assignment post. You'll have this afternoon to ask any questions that you have either on these notes or on those 2 things that you need to be working on, the classwork and the IXL. Enjoy the rest of your morning.